Today, we're going to discuss if the Japanese set of Pokemon 151 is currently worth investing in. If you recall, maybe around a year ago to more than a couple of months ago, this set was actually reprinted and there was a big uproar about it because a lot of people had different investments inside of it, and sealed product, singles, they all dropped for quite a little bit. Everything plummeted. It wasn't very good and everybody was a little worried about what was going to happen, what was the future. They were wondering, could this happen with other sets? There was a really big deal going on about Japanese 151. Now I would say things have settled a little bit. They haven't really quite gotten back to where they once were though. So today we're going to see if now is the best time to pick up 151, because the market is still lower than what it used to be and singles are still priced way under what they once were as well. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the top 10 most expensive base set regular cards to come out of this set. Then we're going to also look at the Master Ball reverses, because if you're unfamiliar, the Master Ball reverses coming from Japanese 151 are highly coveted and highly desired items. So we're going to look at those. And then we're also going to look at the very few selection of sealed products that come with Japanese 151. But first, let's start off with the base set regular cards that can be pulled. Alright, so we're going to start off the list with the non-Master Ball reverses. These are secret rares, full arts, SIRs, gold cards, etc. Technically a little misleading from what I said back there of base set kind of regular set list cards, but you know what I mean. These are the ones that are not the Master Ball reverses, because those, in my opinion, are in a complete different category of their own. But starting off, we have the Switch Ultra Rare Gold card, Pokemon Trainer card. Obviously, all of these cards can pretty much be pulled in the counterpart of the English set. This one, I believe, has some playability, so that might be why it's listed at this price. Most gold trainer cards have a decent price for what they're actually worth, I think because of their playability. But the graph is absolutely messy. I mean, you could just see here, it has gone up and down pretty crazily. It looks like it's high. We'll just pick a random number here. August 25th of last year would have been $22.50. And then its low is relatively recently on June 27th, $13. Looking at 1 year ago, which is relatively close to the August 25th mark, we have about August 15th, which was $17.25. And its current value is $14.21. So the next card on our list is the Charizard EX Full Art or Secret Rare card. Interestingly enough, the Full Art cards are often secret rares in the Japanese counterparts of the English set. So I always find that very peculiar, very interesting. Charizard obviously is a very big fan base. It's a very popular Pokemon, so even a Full Art card like this, the artwork may not be as amazing or as intricate as other Charizard cards or other cards in general, but it usually holds some value. So let's go ahead and take a look at the highs, the lows, where it was 1 year ago and where it is today. So 1 year ago, give or take, we have as far back as August 14th of 2023, we have $38.86. Certainly not bad at all. It looks like its high is roughly here, November 22nd of 2023, $24.93, so just shy of the $25 mark. Its low appears to be on, let's go, July 1st, $11.49, and then its current value is, we have as far back as I believe August 9th, which at this point is a few days ago, but $14.84. The very next card we're going to take a look at is Erika's Invitation. This is the secret rare, again the full art card. To reiterate, you get one secret rare pull per Japanese booster box, so in the Japanese set of 151, this would be one of the bigger and more coveted pulls, quite obviously, right? Whereas in English, you get a full art card, like, oh yeah, cool, we probably get a few of these per booster box, whatever. But in the Japanese version, these are the highly coveted, harder to pull cards. And not to mention, right, the women full art cards in Japanese sets are often considered waifu cards, so they hold a lot of a higher premium than the English counterparts. So I only say this to reflect the prices that we're about to see. So if we go as far back as 1 year ago, we have $127.50. If we go up to, it's a little finicky, there we go, August 17th, which is its high, which is just in a few days actually, So $158.70, just shy of $160. It appears that its low would be on May 22nd of 2024, $17.12, and its current value goes for $20.41. Then the next card and our first special art rare is the Alakazam EX. This is fantastic artwork. The illustration of itself is simply fantastic. And yeah, the artwork is very capturing of Alakazam's personality, a very coveted, very desired card. Let's go ahead and take a look at some values. So we have 1 year ago, roughly August 14th, $39.97. Not bad. It's high. We can get up to there. This chart is very finicky on Collector. We have $60 September 1st of 2023. That is its high. It looks like its low is roughly around the $10 mark if we can get there. I'm not sure that we'll be able to do that, but that's fine. Its low, yeah, is roughly around the $10 mark, and then its current value goes for $24.95. Then the very next card we have on this list is the Blastoise EX. This is obviously one of the bigger pulls. This might be number 2 actually from the English set. I don't remember. It's definitely in the top 3. I don't recall if it's number 2 though. It more than likely is, but unless things have changed. Blastoise EX, great card. If you look up the evolution line as well with Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, fantastic little art piece. Same thing with the big 3, or the rest of the big 3, right? But let's go ahead and look at some value. So we have 1 year ago, August 14th, $59.99. Its high looks like it's roughly around $95. Yeah, give or take if we can get there. Can't really see it, but $95. Its low appears to be around the $15 mark, and then its current value goes for $30.19. Then the next card on our list is the Venusaur EX SIR, or Special Art Rare, I guess. I always say SIR, but it's SAR in this case. Yeah, again, another fantastic card, beautiful colors, beautiful piece. You have the Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur evolution line, and it tells a fantastic story. Let's go ahead and look at some value. So we have August 14th, which was $63.02. That was 1 year ago. Its low appears to be over here, probably at around, yeah, the $23 mark, which, yeah, dropped down quite a lot compared to its high, which is just under $100. You have $99.98. That is pretty insane. And then its current value goes for $34.90. And then moving on to the next card, we have the Zapdos EX SAR, the Special Art Rare, featuring Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres flying through the skies. This one I highly consider to be a big 3-card kind of deal where you have all 3 birds. I don't really necessarily consider it just the Zapdos alone, but I do understand Zapdos is at the forefront of it. It's a beautiful card. I'd love to pull it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some values. So we have as far back as August 14th, we have $60. That was 1 year ago. Its high appears to be over here at $122. Definitely not bad. Whereas its low is shortly after that at $25, and its current value goes for $42.80. And then the very next card, we've already seen it in its full art version. Now we have the SAR, is Erica's Invitation. Again, another fantastic card. In some cases, the full art was more expensive than the SAR, but I think that was a long time ago. It's not really the case anymore. So let's take a look at some values. We have 1 year ago, $242.50. Definitely one of the highest hikes in prices that we've had. And then we go ahead and look at its high where it's pretty much just shy of $400, $394.89. What a price. Its low is a little tricky to point out, so we're just going to pick a random number over here. Yeah, probably around this $50 mark, I would say, is probably fair of where its low was, and that would have been July 12th, 2024, and its current value goes for $64.80. All right, the second last card and the second most expensive card for this portion of the list is the Mew EX SAR. Now this is a very special card because this one we actually received in English via the UPC. So technically there's no actual chase for us in the English version, but in the obviously Japanese version, there was a very big chase for this card. It's an awesome card. I'm glad we didn't have to work too hard to get it because I do have a couple of them. for pretty cheap. But yeah, for the Japanese version, you definitely have to work for it. Let's go ahead and take a look at some value. So we have as far back as roughly August 15th. I just saw it. No, we have August 14th, $176.86. It looks like its high is just under 240 at 233.67. Its low is roughly around the $40 mark on June 24th of 2024, and its current value goes for $72.08. And then the number one and most expensive card on this portion of the list is the Charizard EX SAR. You knew it was coming. It's the most expensive card in the English version as well. To be fair though, I think the English set has more value for its Charizard than the Japanese set does, which I do find fairly interesting. It's obviously a fantastic piece, and like I mentioned before, there's a whole story with Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard, and I almost think that the fire line of that story with the IRs and the SIRs / art rares tells the best story through Charizard, Charmeleon, and Charmander. But let's go ahead and take a look at some values. So we have roughly 1 year ago, $166.25. It looks like its high is at this mark here at $193 on September 25th of 2023. That is just under the $200 mark. Its low is at a pretty substantial point. I believe I saw, $45.62 on February 8th, and its current value goes for $79.90. All right, now we're going to switch the conversation over to Master Ball versions of cards. So if you're unfamiliar with what the Master Ball versions are, essentially when you get a Japanese 151 booster box, you will pull a reverse in every single pack. The reverse will just have normal Pokeball logos on the actual outline / not artwork itself, right, where the reverse is usually supposed to be. However, there is one pull per box where instead of a regular Pokeball in the reverse hollow pattern, you will see a Master Ball Pokeball in the reverse hollow area, which is pretty much the same as, say, pulling that one secret rare from the set, right? And this Master Ball can be anything that is featured in the base set that's either uncommon or a common card, right? So yeah, or even a rare too, I believe, like the holographics that we have in the English version. You can even pull the Master Balls for that, which would also be the holographics for the Japanese version, right? So starting off, we have the Snorlax, which if you look, right, the normal Snorlax actually has some decent value to it, $1.32. The reverse hollow, so if you just were to pull the Pokeball, it would be $2.69, which again, technically isn't too bad. But if you pulled a Master Ball reverse hollow, you would get $26 in value from the card, which is certainly awesome. So let's try our best to take a look at the data here. The yellow is just not super awesome with the white, so let's go ahead and take a look. We have roughly 1 year ago, we have $40.30 for August 14th. Not bad. It looks like its high is over here, pretty crazy, at just above the $80 mark. Again, the graph is very finicky on Collector, so I apologize. We're just going to eyeball where everything could be. The low appears to be below the $10 mark. That's probably roughly around the $5 area. And then it looks like its current value is $26 if you were to pull this Snorlax in a Master Ball version. Then up next, we have the Flareon, which is a holographic pull coming from Japanese 151 and English 151. But again, so if you were to pull reverse holographic, it'd be $2, holofoil $1.70, and the Master Ball reverse holofoil is $27.74. Let's go ahead and try and look at some values. So it looks like 1 year ago, we roughly had it where it was just over the $40 mark. So we have $43.50. That is as of 1 year ago. It looks like the high is just barely over $120. So probably around $123, $124. That would be on, let's see, around the October 9th area. And then it appears to be that its low is relatively recently on July 26th. It looks like its low appears to be around the July 16th area at $20.50, and as mentioned before, its current value is $27.74. Then we move on to the next card, which is Jolteon, the next evolution in line, and you can guess what's coming up in the future, more than likely. A reverse holo, $1.92. Regular holo, $1.92. The Master Ball reverse holo, $27.88. Let's try and get a gauge of what this card would have been worth a year ago. Roughly around $40 on August 14th. It looks like its high again is just over the $120 mark. Roughly around the October 11th mark, where yeah, we have about probably $125 worth of value there. And then it looks like its low is probably similar to what we saw with the Flareon at the $20 mark, and then its current value is $27.88. Then we move on to the next card, which is the Dragonite. And obviously, if you kind of see what's going on here, there are the fan favorites of the commons and uncommons and rares, which are essentially the better pulls. So if you pull this card in a regular reverse, it's $5.04. A holo foil is not bad either, it's $5.04. But a Master Ball reverse holo is $32.50. Let's go ahead and try to look at some values. We have August 14th, roughly $46, so roughly a year ago, $46. Its high is probably over here at just under the $160 mark, probably around $155, and this is in the latter half of November, probably November 29th, November 27th, kind of that area around there. And then it looks like its low is relatively recently, we'll say around June. It hit just above the $20 mark, so roughly $22 is its low. And then it looks like its current value is $32.50. Then the next card on our list is the Vaporeon. You knew it was coming up. We had the Jolteon first, with the Flareon first, then the Jolteon, and now it's Vaporeon. And guess what's going to be later up in the list as well. So let's go ahead and take a look. So if you were to pull this in reverse, $5.04, a holo, $3.15, Master Ball reverse holo, $32.99. So let's take a look at the values. We have roughly a year ago, $50, not bad at all. We look to the high, which all of the evolutions kind of have roughly around the same high of $123, and it's all around the same place too, mid to late October. This one is roughly October 11th, and then it looks like it's low. If we had to pick a point, there's a few points it could be, probably over here at just under the $20 mark, so roughly $18, and its current value goes for $32.99. Potentially a curveball, maybe one that you wouldn't have quite thought to be on this list. We have the Psyduck up next. So if we look at the normal card for Psyduck, $1.32, not bad for just pulling a common card. The reverse holo foil is $1.92, and the Master Ball reverse is $35. Let's try and look at some values. We have roughly 1 year ago, $35. It looks like its high is close to the October 18th area of 2023, just under that $110 mark at roughly $117. And then it looks like its low is, if we had to pick a point, I'll just go relatively recently on July 28th. We're at about the $20 mark, and then its current value is $35. Up next, we have the Dragonair. So in a normal pull, this is $1.26. It's an uncommon. A reverse pull would be $1.79, and a Master Ball reverse pull would be $35.98, so super close to that $36 mark. If we look roughly a year ago, we have $27. Then it looks like its high would be over here in late November at around $75, and then its low, if we were to pick a point, we'll go over here, June 28th, looks like it's around the $15 mark, and its current value, as mentioned before, is $35.98. All right, here it is. We knew it was coming. It is the Eevee. This is a common pull. If you were to get this card in a normal version, $1.23, reverse holo $2.84, a Master Ball reverse holo $38.97. Let's go ahead and take a look at some values. Roughly a year ago, we have about $80, just under $80, we'll probably say around $77. It looks like its high, pretty good number over there, is around the $170 mark, and that is the end of November / mid-November. And then it looks like its low is relatively recently on June 20th, give or take around there. It is under the $20 mark, it's probably around $16, and then its current value is $38.97. All right, the second last card for this list, so the second most expensive reverse Master Ball holo foil card, would be Erica's Invitation. Erica, this is her third appearance on this list, which is super awesome. Let's go ahead. If you pull this card, normally it's only 11 cents. If you got a reverse, it's $2.59. If you got the Master Ball reverse, it's $40.19. Let's try and look at some values. So we've roughly a year ago, just under $140. That's like $136 right there. Then it looks like its high is just under the $180 mark, which that would be in late August, early September, which, yeah, probably around $179. That is pretty crazy. If we were to go and take a look at its low, there's a big stretch here where it probably remains around the same, but we'll just pick the earliest point. We have roughly May 25th, where it was just around $10, just under the $10 mark, and its current value, as mentioned before, goes for $40.19. Then the last card for this section of the list, and the most expensive Master Ball reverse holo foil, is the Pikachu common card. We probably knew it was coming. Pikachu, fairly iconic Pokemon. If Charizard had a Master Ball reverse, that would probably be number one, but Pikachu, definitely number two. Let's go ahead and take a look at, if you were to pull it normally, $2.93 if you get a reverse, $3.99. A Master Ball reverse, though, $130, which makes the Pikachu Master Ball reverse the most expensive card to be coming out of Japanese 151. Let's try and take a look at some values here. It's definitely crazy price jumps, and I am not getting accurate readings with my cursor here, so we're gonna just try and eyeball what it would have been. August 14th, it looks like it's at around the $350 mark, so that's 1 year ago. That is absolutely insane. Then it looks like its high is just under the $600 mark. We'll say around $590, $585, and that would be in the middle of October / early October. And then it does look like its low is a bit hard to pick, but probably relatively recently. Actually might be it currently in its low, to be honest with you, at $130, because it doesn't really look like there's much of a lower point than where it's currently at. So I guess that is good news if you wanted to pick up this card. It's currently in its low at $130. All right, now we're going to switch the conversation up to sealed product. There's not very much sealed product for Pokemon 151. I only have 3 things on here, and yeah, you'll see why. It's not a very exciting and variety-filled topic of what can you invest in, but it's definitely not bad, and it's the main focal point of this video, right? So we have the Pokemon 151 file set Monster Ball binder. So it comes with Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle reverse holographic promo cards. And you have the binder over here, which is used to put your cards in. And then it also comes with roughly, I think that's 5 Japanese 151 packs. So if we were to take a look at some values, 1 year ago, $72. This graph is a whole lot easier to read. It's so much nicer. And then it looks like its low is January 26th at $28.98. And its high is May 29th, $107.99. Definitely not bad. And its current value goes for $53.40. All right, this might be the most pivotal of conversations to have. This is the Pokemon 151 booster box. This is what most people, I would say, who have likely invested in 151 have. The next product would be probably the second most, but this is likely the most, is just a singular booster box, which comes with X amount of packs. I don't recall if it's 30, to be honest with you, but yeah, you get quite a lot of packs. You get your one pull if you choose to open up, or your one Master Ball reverse holo, I shouldn't say your one pull, and then your one secret rare pull. Everybody jumped on this product when it first came out. Prices soared, and then a little over a year later, everything came crashing down because they did massive reprints. So let's look at some values as best as we can. It looks like August 14th, a year ago, $150 US. That is not bad. And then it looks like its high would have been around here at just under the $300 mark. That looks like roughly around $285, $290 at its high. That is pretty crazy considering where it is now. I mean, its low is man, it's as low as the $50 mark, like just under the $50 mark. From I understand why people might have been freaking out, because if you paid $285 and then your investment dropped down to under $50, I saw $46.54. That is cause for alarm for sure. But its current value is still $71.95. It climbed up since the crash, but not by much. We're going to definitely come back to this because we have a whole investment talk coming up, but that is an insane price difference. All right, and then the very last discussion piece for today in terms of sealed product, cards, etc. is the Pokemon 151 booster box case. Most hardcore collectors would pick up a case. A case features a bunch of booster boxes within it, and yeah, most pick up a booster box case, hold for a while. They'll either sell the whole case or sell individual boxes until, or booster boxes until it's time to, make your money back, so to speak. It's a pretty good option, I think, because a case usually, if you're to buy a whole case, costs less than if you were to buy the individual booster boxes for, say, the same amount you're buying the case for, right? Usually costs less, but let's go ahead and take a look at some value. So we have roughly a year ago, a case went for $3,000. Just knowing how much it dropped by, that is an insane stat. $3,000 for a case. Oh my gosh. That's its high as well. 1 year ago, that's its high. Now it's low. It looks like, it's pretty much in its low right now. I mean, not much higher than its actual low. $1,006.50 is its current go rate. Imagine buying 3 cases for $9,000, and now your cases are worth $3,000 combined. It lost 2/3 of its value. That is just nuts. I don't even know. I understand now. So when the first controversy happened, when Pokemon reprinted it, everybody was going insane. I'm like, oh, it can't be that bad. I never actually looked at the data though. Looking at it now, that is nuts. That is a huge drop. I do understand if you put a lot of money, which a lot of people did. A lot of people put a lot of money into Japanese 151. Man, you must have been crushed. Just crushed. But that is the 151 booster box case. All right, we have an important discussion to have. Is now the right time to invest in Pokemon Japanese 151? Well, let's be honest with ourselves. Pokemon did a massive reprint of Pokemon 151 Japanese, right? The prices were crazy high. The reprints came, the prices crashed hard. We're currently at a low, right? We're not at the lowest of the low, but we're still at a low. It's still rebuilding, right? Will it ever make a comeback to where it once was? Well, the answer to that is probably not, or at the very least, probably not right away. I mean, the box was once $300 for a booster box, right? 151 Japanese, it didn't come out all that long ago. What is it, beginning of 2023 or something like that? It didn't come out all that long ago, and the prices were insane, right? This is all to say, 151 has not been out for that long, right? We have to wait for Sword and Shield products to come and go before you can even think about value increase, right? There's a lot of Sword and Shield products like that. I think 151 just gained so much momentum too quickly, where it was just a snowball effect, where the more people bought, the more value would get put into 151 and the higher prices would go. A reprint happened, everything crashed, everybody's scared now. Honestly, now would be a great time to pick up 151. I think given enough time, Pokemon is probably not going to print 151 again. Probably not. Who knows? We're not really safe from any reprints, it seems. But I think enough time has passed to where I don't see another reprint coming for Japanese 151. I could be completely wrong. I hope I'm not. But we're still rebuilding the pieces. It's going to take a long time to get to where 151 once was, and it may never get back to that height, but we're at a low that we've never been at before with this set. So now could certainly be a great time to jump in. I don't really see 151 getting too much lower than where it is now, right? Worst case, you buy a booster box for $72 and then it doesn't go up by much and you sell it for 80, right? Okay, sure. You don't lose money, right? And you hold on to a really nice piece. Best case, this goes up within the next couple of years. It will probably take years, and it actually hits a pretty good value. I mean, will it hit $300 a box again? I kind of doubt it, at least not within the next 2 to 3 years, but it could hit like 150, it could double, could even hit 200, right? I don't know. I don't know. But I do see a future where 151 is still on top. It is risen back up. I think now would be a great time. I didn't do any prior research into the current values of 151 booster boxes, but seeing this, I might have to jump on it, right? I might have to pull the trigger and buy a few more boxes, right? Because this is just insane. That crash and the low it's at now, there's really not that much risk for buying the box, right? It's probably not going to drop down much more, and technically it is on the come up. It's on a slow come up. It can only come up from here, right? As for the singles, I mean, it's always hard to choose to invest in singles, right? It's always a little tricky. They're very volatile, and it kind of just depends on, what collectors want at that given time. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to say what I would want to pick up. Everything does seem to be lower than where it once was, so technically same thing as the 151 booster box. If you wanted to pick up any of these singles, now would probably be a good time, because if we looked, right, things used to be so much more expensive for 151 Japanese in general, and now not so much. Now everything's kind of not at its lowest of low, but it is definitely really low, right? So yeah, I mean, I think now is an excellent time to hop in, pick up whatever you want. If you want to pick up singles, sure, but that booster box price, I think it's a great time. So that's just my opinion. I'd love to know your thoughts down below, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.